All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier eye hypnosis coach and your personal guide. And today on the eye hypnosis coaching journeys, our podcast that brings some of the best in the business, whether it's coaching, whether it is mentoring in various areas of life. I have a very, very special guest and a very, very dear friend who I have known now for several years, and even the way that we met was fortuitous, to say the least. So as we set this up, a big warm welcome to Kartika Nair. And Kartika, this is your cue, so go ahead and turn on your camera. And it's such a blessing to have you here. And as I was getting ready for this pod, I was reminded of, literally, this was the year 2020 when things just kind of aligned, and it's like we were literally meant to be together on the pod. And in those days, of course, this is before um, podcasting like became literally a thing. I had this idea to reach out to people, to interview people who are doing amazing things. And you had already played an important role in my life. Of course, we'll talk more about that and chance uh, occurrences in life, especially as whether you're a healer, whether you're a coach, whether you're into digital marketing, or whether you're just wanting to truly make a difference in the lives of others, right? It's these chance moments that really do make a huge difference. And so, with that, firstly, Kartika, welcome.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, yes, loud and clear.
Thank you so much for having me on the pod. I think this is my very first podcast conversation that I've ever had. And I've been in this field for 13 years. So to me it's a first, and I'm very appreciative that it's with you. So we can really
Nice,
have and share an experience, and I'm really glad.
nice. Beautiful. So, like I said, we've had many conversations over the years, and today is definitely um, a special one. One because, like I said, I actually got to know about you and know you through the online world way back in 2019, and then as time and fate would have it, we actually met in person. I think I came to know about you somewhere around, I would say, May or June of 2019, and then cut to a couple of months later, and we literally met in person. And we've had some very, very interesting trysts and conversations, and so much more over the last couple of years. So it's really, really good to have you here like this online. And I'm sure, like we were just talking before the pod, this is not a typical pod. The idea here is, of course, to be able to help people who are watching this. So, I'm really looking forward to people who tune in, whether they're watching this live right now or they happen to be watching this later, that this will really make a difference in their lives. So, maybe before we even get started, I'm sure the world would love to hear from, in your words, like, what is it that you do today? And what are some of the really cool projects that you're already working on?
Okay, so firstly, thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Kartika Nair. I've been a personal development coach and trainer for 13 years almost. So it's quite a long journey. What I do is essentially a blend of manifestation work, so creation work, and healing. So, healing
Mm,
comes in terms of releasing the fight, the resistance, the upset, the judgments in our day to day life, and of course the healing of the past and all of the stuff that has happened to us that then led into who we became and how that affected our work and how it affected our opportunities and what we attract and what we block. So
mm,
a lot of that healing is also what I do. I have this academy called Synchroshakti Academy. We have over 35,000 worldwide students, active students. These are paid students. But other than that, I have this YouTube channel that's been ongoing for
Mm.
many years. We have topics that range from everything personal development on every topic, from health to relationships to self love to connection with the divine to magic appreciation, everything. And we have around 200,000 subscribers, more than that,
Yeah.
on the channel. So it's basically that's my professional life put in front of all of you.
Nice, nice, awesome. So, just listening to you, it's like, this conversation, we can take it in any number of ways. I can sort of like tap into any number of ways. So, um, I think we'll maybe start where you are at this point, because I know you're already right now in the process of working on a program. So, maybe if you sort of like dip into that from a place of inspiration, and when you think about it in the context of either students or just people out there, and what they are looking for, like what is it that they want, in context to what you're right now in the process of launching shortly. What are some of the insights that you have come across, maybe let's say in the last 6 months, maybe a year, or maybe even 2 years, because we are all post COVID now. So a lot has shifted in the way the world, revolves, rotates, in the way people think. So I'm sure people will benefit from hearing your perspective um,
Okay.
on what's happening. Mm.
So, just to kind of answer what you said about the
Mm.
upcoming project. So, what
Mm.
is happening upcoming is a free program, so not selling you anything. It is
Mm.
this program called the FIRE method, and what the FIRE
Mm.
stands for, you'll find out in the program. It is free, so it's for everyone. And what this is the next level of your creation process for the life that you want to live. Now, we've already
Mm.
kind of done a lot of work in terms of manifesting the life that you want. We've done enough and more. We've got
Mm.
50 plus programs that are about manifesting in any area, health or relationships or money, and people have done phenomenally.
Mm.
But what we've also noticed, and you might have noticed this in your journey also, Rahul, is that when students get results,
Mm.
when they're consistent, they get a lot of results. But when they stop, they go
Mm.
back to their default state of
Mm.
deflation and I'm not good enough and struggle and lack focus. So
Mm.
there is, so
Mm.
who are you outside
Mm.
of the techniques is the basic question. So outside of your affirmation,
Nice.
your scripting, when you're not doing that stuff, who
Mm.
are you otherwise? So, because the whole law of
Mm.
attraction field is about the fact that you attract not what you want, but who you are as a default, which is why when you're practicing law of
Mm.
attraction to manifest something, it's not working out, or it works out and then fizzles out, or then there's constant blocks that are happening, it's not moving. Because there's an element of who
Mm.
you are in there. And who you are, what
Right.
I kind of, you worked with me, I've seen generally throughout my life who I was a very deeply fearful and
Mm.
powerless person. So I needed to hold
Mm.
on to law of attraction techniques in order to get the next burst of results, and then the next burst of
Mm.
results. And that's generally what people do. They'll do a lot of the techniques and tools to get the burst of results, but when they're not doing it, they firstly are very hard on
Mm.
themselves to make sure that they do it. And when they don't do it, they feel guilty. But even when they don't do it, life
Mm.
doesn't work for on their behalf, or in the flow it doesn't work out for them, because there's some part of
Mm.
them that is still very very deeply fearful, feeling not connected, not trusting the universe, and also majorly just don't believe that things can go
Right.
smoothly for them. So there's this
Mm.
consciousness of
Mm.
struggle. That's why, so now what the project we're currently working on is showing them that inner shift that happens at an identity level, at a core identity level,
Mm.
not just depending on tools. Like, tools are great, they're amazing, they're powerful.
Mm.
But then what happens when you don't have time to do the tools, or you are
Yeah.
forcing yourself and things are not working out? We need something else working on our behalf, which is our core identity, our core vibration, so that
Mm.
things happen without you
Mm.
having to make it happen or force it to happen. So this identity shift, this is also
Mm.
what you were working on yourself
Mm.
in your
Mm.
work. this is what the upcoming program is about. So
Nice.
that's the next level. So now it's not just, okay, do
Mm,
this to get these results. We've done that, we've got the results. Now how do
right.
we keep it and
Mm,
evolve from there instead of going back to your default states when you're
mm,
not doing those techniques consistently?
mm, mm. Nice. Yeah. So I think this is again something that we will definitely talk more about, as we progress, as we continue chatting in the pod. But just a thought, like sometimes when people hear things like this, we talk about identity, we talk about changing beliefs, right? Um, i- if I was to say, like, uh, maybe say 5 years ago or 10 years ago, what was it that you looked at, that you're now literally living? Like, it's like saying when we are stuck in the mud, um, we tend to look to the future and we have these ideas of, oh, I wish I had this, right? So maybe in that context, if you'd like to share a little bit about, in a way also for people to get to know you, because the intention of doing these pods is that people find you, people, there are more people that are drawn into your energy and can benefit from it, right?
Hmm.
And I know that firsthand, because when I was on my digital marketing journey, meaning I was learning one very important element when you're looking to become what I call the healer coach. But basically it's like anybody looking to go deeper into coaching, one very important part of the journey is learning marketing, right? And so I found your you were part of Siddharth, as in Siddharth Rajshekar's community, and I found you had made a website. So that was my first introduction to, we don't really realize what we're putting out there, but people find us, right? So I'm just thinking out loud, like, uh, if you'd love to share a little bit about your journey, because I know that will truly inspire people to either want
Okay.
to change their beliefs, or, as you said, now the focus is on identity. And I know from personal experience also that identity is like, uh, in a
The
good way, it's
magnet.
dynamite, right? It can
Yeah.
literally, yeah, exactly, right? It can draw everything into your life and change it also, right?
Yeah,
So
I
I'd love
think
for.
like the
Hmm.
the the thing just kind of like popped up at me, and I was thinking about this earlier today, is that if I look back at my life before,
Mm,
how it used to be, I'm, let's say, before,
mm,
as in like let's say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years back, to now,
mm,
it's
mm.
unrecognizable. It is
Yeah,
180-degree difference. Now
yeah.
the person, not just personality wise, identity wise, but the experiences that I have had
Mm,
over the past, let's say, 6, 7 years, are
mm.
experiences that if I had told, not just miraculous, of course there's tons of miracles and magic that happens
Sure.
only to me, identity,
Mm,
right? It's something that happens
mm,
not only to me but to our students and whatever. The
mm.
point I'm making is, if I had told that to myself back then, who I used to be, that deeply fearful person, or the one who was manifesting a lot of stuff but also manifesting the exact, not even the exact opposite, but total traumatic stuff while also manifesting all the good stuff.
Right.
If I had told her that this would be your life and you'd live, by the way, I live in a completely different dimension. No, I mean, I live in a different country, that is true. I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in a village in a Slavic country in the
Mhm,
Balkans, and I come from like Sarjapur
mhm.
Road, Bangalore. So you can see, not that Sarjapur Road, Bangalore is bad. It's just that I'm showing the difference in
Yeah.
the dimension of where I live, what my life is like on a daily
Mm,
basis, who I am, what I attract, the kind of experiences I attract here. She wouldn't have believed that if I had told her, because
mm.
she wouldn't have been able to process what I am
Yeah.
saying, because of how dramatically different not only
Mm,
life has been, but I have been. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I was telling her, and this is a friend of mine who's known me for like 5 years, 6 years.
mm,
And I told her, I was such a hot mess in this way, and I still have my things that I'm growing out of, and I will always have that
mm,
evolution. I'm not like
mm,
robot who doesn't, have nothing to grow through. But I told her this, and she knows me for 6 years, and she said, I cannot imagine you being
mm,
a hot mess. And she's seen me for years, like day, so like all the time, and she's never couldn't picture me as to what I used to be, who I used to be,
Mm.
and what my life used to be to now. And I can give you some
Right.
stories for context a little later.
Mm.
But
Mm.
that is what I'm saying. It's this the 180-degree difference in
Mm.
dimension that you live in. That
Yeah.
is what I wanted to kind of
Yeah.
highlight. But I
Yeah.
still have
I
my
think this.
stuff. Huh? This is
Yeah.
important.
I think
Yeah.
this is an important topic to really sort of drive home, which is, um, when you talk about personal change, right? A lot of times people kind of either assume that it will happen overnight, or if it doesn't happen in a year or 2 years or 3 years, it's like there's so much of disappointment, versus when you are able to sort of go the distance, and you look at your life 5 years later, 10 years later, and that you've become so much more than who you were like 10 years ago. um, I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of times people get disappointed and kind of give up.
So two things are important here. Firstly, overnight
Mm,
change can happen. Okay, so we've
mm,
seen it all the time, but that's not the point of it. Is that if you didn't get an overnight change, you're not going to get it. Same time,
mm,
the disappointment is also human. It hurts. It is painful. You're
mm,
trying. It's
mm.
something that is meant something to you, and you've tried. It meant something
Correct.
huge to you, and you tried and you tried and you tried and kept falling down. So that pain is
Mm,
very much human, and it's going to be there because we have
mm,
lack of perspective that
mm.
the journey is not over yet.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the movie. The
Mm,
mind thinks that this is I've tried, and also what we don't realize is that that disappointment and that struggle was also because of our energy that we produced that kept blocking things. So when there's just a shift in perspective, our understanding our energetics and
mm,
what we have produced, this also kind of what this class I was talking about on fourth. It is free, not selling you the class. It is a free class. This particular class, I have a lot of stories on this topic. If you And there's a quiz in this class where I get people to go through this quiz and see exactly what emotions and energies they produced on that
mm,
disappointing journey of not getting where they wanted to go. And they'll realize the
mm.
whole time, the it's like Scooby-Doo, right? Who was behind the crime was you.
Right.
So to become aware of that is one perspective that helps you overcome that disappointment. And I always, like, when you're relearning the past, you teach your past versions to recognize what vibration was I in when that
Mm,
trauma happened, what vibration was I in when this person did this, what vibration was I, and you will recognize that you were a match to that experience. So that doesn't mean that
mm,
this is victim blaming and that dark side of personal development. It's not that. It's just to reflect on what could I have been thinking,
mm,
what were my core beliefs at that time, what was the energy at that time,
mm,
so I don't repeat that now, so that my future can be better and I don't regret the past and curse people. They were going to do that to people
mm,
anyway. You just happen to be a vibrational match to being in that place at that time experiencing that thing. So that is an
mm,
empowerment. It's not a blame, it's not a repent because you manifested your own traumas. This is, hey, now
mm,
I get it. At least for me, I think you and me, we're people who are willing to do that, to go back and tell our
mm.
past selves, hey, listen, you're not the victim here. There was this
Correct.
thing called energy and creation, and we were matching these experiences. The world is a mirror of our emotions. And here's this thing called law of attraction. I teach my past versions about law of attraction. I give them a magic wand and I say, okay, this is how you create. Your
Mm,
predominant emotion needs to be like this. Let's do
mm,
it together.
mm,
So I give them a nice, fun project. And so that way they learn to forgive people, understand their dimensions, understand that those
mm,
people were anyways going to do that. Their childhood, their past was anyway gearing them up to behave
mm.
that way. It's just that we were a vibrational match to that. That's it. To
Right.
forgive people and nothing to do with us, and to learn
Mm,
different things about us and then kind of reach from there. So that is the energetics part of it. This is what, the
mm.
I don't want to give out too much information about my fire method class because I want to keep the curiosity on finding out what fire method stands for. But that's what
Mm,
it is essentially, is this stuff, is that this disappointment, once you understand where it was your vibrational mismatch, will make change disappointment to empowerment, so you can do
mm,
produce better emotional states. And better core concepts. We'll talk about that probably in a bit. And
Mm.
also that this sometimes change is definitely overnight. I have seen it so many times in not only
Mm.
my life and students' lives, but a lot of our change takes place over time as well. So
Mm.
the movie is not over yet. As long as we are alive on the planet, the movie never gets over. That's why I said it like
Mm.
very openly, and I don't want anyone to, even when they come for my, if you come for my class, for example, on the 4th,
Mm.
and we're doing it every Sunday of August. In case you can't do it, come on 4th. The I made it very clear, and I said my journey does not end. I didn't become enlightened. I've just
Mm.
reached a new era of my experience of life, and I'm not going back to the old. I'm not going back and
Mm.
repeating patterns. I'm now in the new place, and I'll still have things to evolve and go to the next level and then next level. My journey never doesn't end. Yours doesn't end. It's just
Mm.
that we're not going backwards now. Now it's the time
Mm.
to move forward and stay there and then grow from there instead of going back.
Mm. Mm. Beautiful. So, like talking about the journey, um, did you have like these flashpoints in your life where you were like, oh, this is it? Like, I've wanted something and now I'm kind of getting a feel of it. And this is almost like reflection of what even my future can be. Were there moments like this that you experienced over, let's say, the last maybe 10 years or so?
This is it moments that you could then kind of
Mm.
use that aha for the future. Is that what you meant, or did
Mm.
you mean?
Mm.
Okay.
Mm. Yeah.
um Everything that I have taught or am teaching right
Mm.
now has come from an experience. So a lot of people ask,
Mm.
who's your teacher, who's your guru, which book did you read? I've read a lot and I've studied through a lot of people, but 95% of what comes out in my classes is something that I learned through my own experiences, which kind of
Mm.
clicked for me. And I realized, oh, okay, so it's your predominant emotion towards a desire that manifests, not all the other stuff
Mm.
that you're constantly doing. So someone, I recently spoke to someone. I contacted that person and they were struggling with debt and their business and all that. And they're like, I'm doing Ho'oponopono, I'm doing, surrender to the universe. I said, what's the first thought that comes to you when you think of your business? And she said,
Mm.
the thought that comes to me is it's not doing well. I said, do all the surrender you want. I'm going to do well, because that is your predominant immediate reaction that comes up. If you could have shifted that predominant emotion, immediate reaction to, I'm so blessed to have this beautiful business that does beautiful
Mm.
things for people, and that's your predominant emotion is love for what you do, then your business will, people will come and it'll match that vibration. Your only work on earth is to change your predominant emotion towards the life you want, or your predominant
Mm.
emotion to the life you have. So then your predominant emotion will manifest. If the predominant emotion for you towards the life you have is a negative one, it will stay that way, because it's always a
Mm.
predominant emotion that manifests. I actually created a magnet for our students to put it on
Mm.
their fridge, a predominant
Nice.
emotion. So always to remember, because it's not just, okay, I did
Mm.
my visualization last night, but then this morning when I think about my relationship, or I think about
Mm.
whatever, and you will see, like, even when we were working on whatever
Mm-hmm.
we were working on, my predominant emotion was, you can't I can't break this, I can't break this. This was my
Mm.
predominant emotion. But then if you flip this to, this is something that is helping me get to a better place, now the whole game has changed. Now you'll actually end up getting to a better place, instead of having
Mm.
that belief that no, this cannot be changed. Ultimately the point here is that lesson, the predominant emotion is what
Mm.
manifests, and the other one is drop your resistance. If you fight a
Mm.
reality, you will feel that reality, whether you're fighting it in your head
Mm.
or you're physically fighting a reality, or you're judging, resisting. It's like putting kerosene into fire. It will keep burning and
Mm.
it'll burn the house down. So dropping the resistance and allowing a situation to pass is the next big learning. And that's also, these are parts of the fire method, which you would learn more about in class, a 2.5 hour
Mm.
class. So I would recommend
Mm.
studying it further there if this interests you. But these are those moments. So it, for me in my life, specific moments, I mean, there are millions of them where I've realized, oh, this is it. And I was like, I was talking to Raja the other day, Raja and Arpita, and I said,
Mm.
I can see for everything that occurs in my day-to-day life, I know exactly how I
Mm.
manifested it. anything good or something I need to work through. I know exactly what thought it was, or what day, at what moment, what emotion I produced or manifested. That I know I can
mm,
see moment to moment how it is
mm,
created. So for me, moment to moment, I have that complete awareness of what is creating, and it's usually either there's a resistance to something that you're unconsciously resisting. You're not, no one's trying to fight consciously. It's all happening because
mm,
we are kind of wired in that way to fight and judge and resist. So that unconsciously, when that comes up, I can see the manifestation of that. I can also see when I
mm,
take 5 minutes, just or 2 minutes, to shift my energy towards any topic. That topic will change overnight. The next day,
mm,
everything is resolved, things are okay, because I shifted
mm.
for that 2 minutes. So for me, it's like my day-to-day life is constant realization of, let's say, these two principles.
Right. Nice. Nice. So, you talked about some of the principles within, and about the fire method, right? So is there something that you want to share with people so that it can sort of prepare them for the program? Because obviously, I will be sharing the link so people can come and see what's there, and if there's a
I'll
match
just
they
kind
can.
of I'll just kind of share one thing.
Mm,
So the fire method masterclass, it's a class. So it's you've got
mm,
exercises to do, you've got quizzes to do, you've got a lot of thinking to do, work to do. So that's why it's a masterclass. It is free. It's 2.5 hours long. And if you can't make it on the 4th, we have it on other Sundays as well of August. What I would say majorly for you to know is, if you are somebody who has been trying to manifest something, and then just there's these certain areas of life that are just not budging, they're just not working out,
mm,
you need this class. If there are areas of your life that work out, like a lot of people make a lot of money, especially with law of attraction.
mm,
You will make a ton of money when you're in that money energy, not just like visualize, like when you're connected to money and there's that loving
mm,
relationship, you'll make a lot of money. But then when they stop it, the money that was like a huge ocean that came to them starts coming like a trickle, and then slowly starts
mm,
beginning to stop. So that's how it's been for you, where you had manifestations, but then they stop. It doesn't happen that often anymore for you. Then this class is for you. Majorly,
mm,
if you've also dealt with self-esteem issues and dealt with the past, where the past has a very strong negative energy or negative momentum in your life, this class is for
mm,
you. So anyone who, even if you're an expert, even if you're somebody who's been in this field for 50 years, written best-selling books,
mm,
this class is something for you. Because essentially it's all coming down to this one core shift, where it's like the magnet and the iron filings which we did in school.
mm,
When you remember,
mm,
if you remember, the magnet is so strong that all the iron filings, you just kind of sprinkle over it, it will go around the magnet, and it will take that field, right? It has a magnetic field, take the
mm,
shape of it.
mm,
Is the
mm,
same thing with this. The fire is that internal shift in
mm,
identity, in that core being shift. It's not that you become arrogant, it's not that you become distanced from other people and better. It's complete drop from head to heart to soul. Okay,
mm,
it's a level of power that you're yet to discover. But once you're in that, you're the magnet, and then all these iron filings are different areas of your life. And these include
mm,
miracles. Like I was taking a lot of case studies to show how these principles actually affect people.
mm,
And one of, like in my case, I have a lot of interesting miracles. I don't talk about these in class because I only have 2.5 hours to put so much across. But I have a lot of
mm,
interesting miracles that happened to me. Like many times I've entered borders of countries without the proper documentation.
mm,
Where the person next to me cannot enter, I can enter. It's weird. Like I would
mm,
end up having that experience many times. I had a student recently whose like family of like 14 people were the supposed to get onto a flight, and the gates were closed. They asked everybody.
mm,
Everyone said no, cannot. This person is like, he believes strongly that it's going to happen for him anyway. He goes and they all get onto the flight and they get upgrades, and they don't have to pay for baggage, and there are like 14 of them, and the other passengers who made it late did not get through. And I said, this is
Mm,
literally what's happening to so many people, not just like these two stories. Miracles are happening. I had one case study I saw for our
mm,
Pune meet and greet, where our students and us
mm,
meeting. They were staying in one hotel room. They saw that there's
mm,
another hotel room which is like this grand suite, it's like huge room.
mm,
And they said, why not, why we can't live in that room? And they managed to, without paying anything extra, get upgraded to that awesome suite, which is like the best suite of the whole hotel. Our students were able to do that,
mm,
didn't pay anything extra, nothing. So these kind of natural, without struggle, basically things happen to you as a result of who you are, without
mm,
struggle. That doesn't mean that there's never any problem to now work through, but you whiz through the problem. Like, and I can honestly tell you, if there's a problem in
mm,
my life, majorly 99% of problems, it will not last more than 1 to 3 days. I will whiz past it. It will not last. There might be
mm,
one area of my life or something that might take a little bit more time to break through, but there are 99%. And I can't say I struggle in
mm,
any, with a beautiful marriage, beautiful health. And I have tell a lot of my health struggle journey stories in the class.
mm,
Beautiful career, as you know, incredible students. I'm very blessed to have that. In
mm,
every area, beautiful in-laws, beautiful relationship with my family, love and respect in the family. Everyone
mm,
wants these things. I can't say that I struggle in any of these areas. And if something did come
mm,
up, which never comes up in these areas much, maybe in your marriage, so you will have things to grow through, but it's
mm,
solved. It's like, the next day, 1.5 days later, gone, over, does not come back.
mm,
It's kind of like a game. So that is
mm,
what I want
mm,
people to know, that it becomes smoother. And a lot of people, when I talk to them, they're still dealing with the same problem. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, four
mm,
years, 5 years, still dealing with the same problem. If that was my problem, I would deal with it in 1.5 days. It's over. It's gone. I zipped through it,
mm,
because there's the energetics part of it, but also the core identity parts of it. A lot of us
mm,
have these belief systems or identities of powerlessness and victimhood, which can be flipped in 4 months. Like, I have a program coming up, Healy Fest, which is 4.5 months, or basically this, like mastering this fire
mm.
method. 4 months. And I don't know, were you in Healy Fest before? Did you ever come to Healy Fest?
No, I've done one of
Or
the
you were
crash
only
courses.
AA? You've done the
I've
crash course,
done the
but
crash
you
course of Healing. Mm,
Healy Fest. But that is like a basic short form
mm,
program. But you've done
mm,
AA. Now you see,
mm,
AA is a 3 month program. Okay, so 3 months leaning into 4 months.
mm,
Did you or did you not see an absolute identity shift in that time that you were in AA, to
mm,
the point where
mm,
today, whether you do, don't do, there will still be a certain amount of money that will keep coming to you with or without struggle.
mm.
That identity shift has happened, and it stayed. Would you agree? Let me just ask you, would
Yeah,
you
yeah,
agree that that is
yeah.
what has happened to you?
Sure. Yeah.
Did you or did
Mm-hmm.
you not see an identity shift from when you first began with AA and after the 3 months? 3 months is a
Mm,
very powerful time. Not it's See, and actually Yuvika was saying this in her testimonial. She said she knows the benefit of identity shift that is permanent versus going for a program, getting really motivated, and then when the program finishes, you're back to your default state. A lot of
mm,
people were able to maintain that identity shift to this day. You might still have work to do, and all of us have work to do, but there is
mm,
something where you have leveled up and you cannot go back to the next level. You only
mm,
evolve from that new level up. That is
mm,
the and it can happen in 3 months. It doesn't necessarily have to take
mm.
forever. But what would you choose? 7 years of the same struggle, or 3 months of really breaking through that? What do you choose, right?
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
is possible.
So I have a question here. I'm just thinking from the place of people who are stuck or stay stuck. You've obviously seen like thousands of people at different phases. Some who sort of like make those miraculous breakthroughs and they never go back to who they were, right? There are some that will sort of shuttle back and forth, and then there are some who never start, right? Meaning they just continue to stay in that state
The
of
loop.
stuckness, Let's call it that for
Mm.
now. Yeah, in
Mm.
the loop, right? um so I'm sure you have a perspective on, like, why is it that there are some people who are not able to, like I said, some make a complete break, some kind of are on the journey, and then there are some who just are the way they were, right? So
Hmm.
what have you, what's your take on this? Like, why does that happen, or why is that?
Okay. So essentially, again, it comes down to core concepts. I'll just give you a very simple
Mm,
example. Let's take
mm,
the example of procrastination, which is what
mm,
all of us have done at some point in our lives. There is
mm,
no judgment towards it. And we tend to judge it because we think that by
mm,
procrastinating, we're doing something so fundamentally wrong to ourselves and our lives. But if you understand procrastination, it's a self-loving mechanism. And Teal Swan
mm,
used to talk about this, and I totally agree with her, because when you procrastinate, it's a part of you that says,
mm.
feels that there is something uncomfortable or something fearful or
Correct.
something not right in
Mm,
taking that action, that it will make you procrastinate. For example, if you have failed in the past and a part of you is
mm,
scared of failing again, you're going to
mm,
procrastinate because that part of you says, why should you even try when you're going to fail? So
mm,
I'm just going to make sure you don't start, right? That's when there, and then
mm,
there is the identity issue. A lot of us,
mm,
and a lot of people haven't thought of this, so this might be a little eye opener, is a lot of us
mm,
need the sufferer's identity because it gives us meaning.
mm,
So anything that takes
mm,
us out of the suffering and into a new reality, we will have to abandon this main source of identity that you're getting. And most of us are scared to abandon that. We will hold on. That's why mindfulness is such a pain in the bum for most people, because the a part of
mm,
you them does not want to give up on the drama and the pain and the suffering. So that's that, it's that joy of misery. You get some meaning and
mm,
some needs met. Like, if I have a miserable life, my life has more value. If I have more struggle and pain, therefore there is more story and more substance to me,
mm,
so I'm going to hold on to that struggle and pain. So now going and starting and going, even though you want to, it's like the dog is sitting on the nail and crying. It will
mm,
still not jump out. It will cry, but it will not jump off of that chair, because even though it pains, it's still comfortable on that chair. It's the
mm,
same thing with us. Is even though it hurts us, the misery and the pain, and we've all been there. This is why there's no
mm,
judgment. I can't say I am some holier than thou. No, I've been through all of these phases of not
mm,
starting, and sometimes even giving up before you start, because you don't see yourself succeeding, or the new
mm,
reality is too alien for you, and your brain can't wrap itself around it, so you stay in your familiar state. And
mm,
also, there are very few people who have any evidence of the possibility of life. That's why you like plug
mm,
a billion success stories in our programs, because they've not never even thought of a
mm,
reality that can be so 180-degree different. So if you have no evidence of a new reality, why would you, just by the words of someone saying do law of attraction, actually make the attempt to it? It's just alien.
mm,
It's like, if I have no evidence that I'll be able to dive 50 meters deep, I've never seen anyone doing it. Why would I even start? Like, I've heard that you
mm,
can, but why would I even start? So these are different reasons why people may not start, but there is always a self-protective, self-loving reason
mm,
behind all
mm.
self-sabotage. Even cutting yourself, hurting yourself is a self-protective
Yeah.
mechanism, because it's easier to firstly, it's easier to hurt ourselves than to be hurt by other people. So might as well,
Mm,
okay, just get it out of the way. Secondly, cutting yourself allows you to make enough of a statement to be finally heard by people and to get help by
mm,
people. So you are trying, because you are asking people for help and they're not doing anything. So you might as well ask them in a
mm,
way that will get a reaction from them. So these are all ways in which people are self helping by self sabotaging. So it's not a bad thing. But if you understand it, you can find better ways of going about it instead of harming
mm,
yourself and not taking the right action. So there's a lot of
mm,
nuances in the psychology of
mm,
people, and that's why some of us, and why are people in a loop, that you'll find out in the fire method, because there's a whole segment
mm,
just on why people are in a loop. I
mm,
don't want to give off too much of the class, but yes, yeah.
mm. I I completely, I sense where you're coming from, because like you've studied NLP as well, neuro linguistic programming, and that's something that I've noticed that sometimes even if people change their beliefs, they want to sort of rush back to the old beliefs because they've
It's
not
the
yet.
home.
Yeah, it's
It's
safety,
home.
it's the known, right?
It's the familiar.
Versus where we talk about the identity, which is literally where you become a different person altogether. So I
Or
think that is.
so more of, I just want to kind of just break
Mm-hmm,
that down. So fire
mm-hmm,
method is not, it's not about becoming a different person. It's about becoming the person that you are, that you've never met before. So
mm,
it's so far, we were, when we were kids, we saw ourselves from the reflection of how other people behave towards us, right?
mm,
We could have
mm,
gotten something, we
mm,
couldn't have gotten something. Someone said something, someone didn't say something. Someone did something, someone didn't do something, and we saw ourselves like that. And most of
mm,
what we saw was a complete flawed, actually, all of it was a flawed perspective, because how someone reacted to us was related to their childhood and their parenting and their stuff. It has nothing to do with us. One small
mm,
thing that we did a mistake, and the way that they reacted was nothing to do with us. It was related to their,
mm,
how they perceived that mistake, right? So we've really not had an accurate reflection of who we are. In fact, no one in my whole life has ever shown me the beauty and the truth of who I actually am, the divinity in
mm,
all of us. No one has shown us that. It's not our fault. No one showed us that. But when that's what the whole fire method process is, to go
mm,
on this journey of finding that one inside of you, that beautiful one, that divine one, that talented one, the one that you're so proud of, the one that you so deeply love, who is then a magnet to other people seeing that in
mm,
you.
mm,
That journey is so I told you, you're not becoming someone different or being in your ego
mm,
and I'm
mm.
better now than everyone else. You're slipping
Correct.
into your heart and your soul at a level that is so powerful. Like, you will see, you will
Mm,
see yourself, that soul, that divinity, that beauty, that brilliance that you've never seen before. So it's not even like convincing yourself. A lot of the
mm,
times in personal development, we immediately, like, I was telling some people to do the self appreciative
mm.
thing, and they immediately start saying, I am a divine child of the universe. And I said, do you believe that? No, then don't write it. What do you believe that actually is who you are, that you can acknowledge? So
Correct.
start with what is true. Don't have to force yourself to
Mm,
believe something that's not even true about you. It's just in acknowledging what is true about you, that is good over a
mm,
period of time, will put
mm,
you in a new identity state, to something that is magical, into a magical, beautiful, gorgeous soul that you never had seen before. So it's a journey of self
mm,
discovery, not a journey of becoming someone different. Even with like
mm,
money, for example, with AA, we spoke about being a money giant. But that money giant was not that we convinced ourselves of something we were not. It's just that we tapped into a version of us that is super abundant. If you notice, how did we build up to that belief that we are a money giant? We kept looking at our microscopic levels of abundance in our life, macroscopic levels of abundance in our lives, and built ourselves up to the point of seeing, and even that vision that I am this
mm,
incredible entrepreneur who has this awesome stuff. That vision was not you pretending to be someone else. It's something is
mm,
already in you, that is a winner. It's in everybody. That same potential is there. We just tapped into something that already existed
mm.
in you. They say, right, the whole everything, all resources already within you. So it's
Yeah,
nothing to be
true.
different. It is to be more of the spirit that you are, which is boundless, not limited to
Mm,
anything. That is what the fire
mm.
method is about. So yes. Are
Beautiful.
you now
So,
interested? Now, am I telling you to come to the class? Are you sold to come to the class? You'll be, Rahul is thinking, I better come for the fire method class now. I need to find out.
one thing I always check in with, whoever sort of like crosses my path, and I'm like, yeah, like you are meant to be in this pod. One thing that I always look to ask is, what is the role of community in, like, what do you believe is the role of community in this work that we're doing?
So I can speak from my
Mm,
perspective of our
mm,
communities and how that's helped us.
mm, mm,
So we always have a group for every program that we do, at least if it's like a big enough program. And
Mm.
we have these chat communities, and also people end up meeting each other on Zoom and things like that.
Mm.
The role that the community has played is, I mean, I can't put it in human words. It is, so one is, of course, if I put it in human terms, okay, just come down to trying to put it
Mm.
in words, is one is you end up having a reference of what is possible for people. So
Mm.
in our community, if you've been in our community, every time you refresh the page, there's a new success story. You should have
Mm.
seen an MMMC. Every time I refreshed that Facebook group, there was a new success story. You just every time you go into our Telegram group, I'm talking about Telegram group for a specific course that is like live and we're
Correct.
working on it. There's a new success story. So one thing is you'll see the evidence of this stuff working. Two, you
Mm.
will see the extent to which it works, because people recently, one lady, I was looking at her success story from our academy, who healed her anger towards her father, and the cellulite on her body disappeared. And to me, I was
Wow.
like holding on to a success story, like just reading it every day, like cellulite can go away from you. It is so inspiring to everyone to see at what extent this stuff can work. Someone's helping somebody else, their father, their brother, their sister, heal and manifest in their own lives, the magic. It's amazing to see what is possible. It puts you
Mm.
in that magical state all the time. Plus you have a community of families that's growing together. One is, if in a family, if you fall down, somebody always pulls you up and you can pull somebody
Mm.
else up. So there's that support system. But majorly because I love communities, I love Telegram groups. I'm the one who's like answering everyone's question. And people ask me,
Mm.
Katka, you answering everyone's questions. Why? I love it. I love it. A lot of people come to me saying, I can help your business grow by automating your Telegram. And I'm like, no, I want to be part of Telegram. I want to be a part. The reason one is that I get to share uh, my life with people, my day to day life
Mm.
with people. I get to share, they get to share their lives with me, and we become a family where there's like a PhD of knowledge. I'm constantly answering questions, I'm constantly discussing things, we're breaking down people's. So you answer one person's question, you would have answered 100 people's questions, so that is
Mm.
the power of having multiple minds together, a mastermind of just these discussions.
Mm.
And you'll have lifelong friends. I think you've made a lot of friends from the community, our
Mm.
community. uh,
Yeah.
and this is just basically your own friends and family. If you go and tell them, hey, I just went to personal development class, they're not going to sit and clap for you and be like, wow, I wish I was in that class, I commend you. They're going to be like, why are you wasting your time on these
Correct.
scamsters, fraudsters
Correct.
who want to I have to quote it correctly because I've read this. Scamsters, fraudsters who want to fool people out of their money. Why do you want to hang out with
Mm.
them? But then you
Mm.
have a deeper calling and you're growing with the community, you're growing with some learnings
Mm.
that are constantly delivering results. This is different. Scamsters are people who ask for your money and give zero results. That is a scam.
Right.
I was
Yep.
telling people, I said, if people are fools to come to these scamsters, give them money, frauds, whatever, then my students must be great fools, because they're coming for every program, again and again, back and back and back and back.
Mm.
How many batches
Mm.
of AA did you do?
All,
All.
which is
How many?
probably four,
So
four
are
or
you? So
five.
why did you pay me money if I'm a fraudster, scamster who only fools people for money? Why do people
Mm.
keep coming back? Why? So answer that for you. Why did you keep coming back for every batch? Did you not get results in the first batch?
Yeah.
So why you came back again?
Exactly.
Why you came back? Yeah, that's it, man.
So let me answer it like this, and this is, of course, for people who are watching. This is my understanding that when you're talking about learning, there's always something that you will get in the first go. There's always things that you will learn in the second time when you do it. There's always some things that you'll pick up in the third. It's like saying there are so many layers that this is my way of looking at it, my belief, if you want to call it that. In that you are only in a state to be able to absorb certain things at one level. When you come back and you learn it again, you will pick up things that were there but you were not yet able to pick up on it. So which is why I have this approach. When it Of course, in school, you'll probably remember this. In school and college, we were not encouraged to go back and learn fifth standard again, or repeat each time. In fact, interestingly, in the schooling system, it's the other way around. It's frowned upon if you fail a division or a class or whatever, right? It's like you're supposed to get everything or scrape through or whatever and keep moving ahead. But this is my understanding that, you learn or you repeat until you really, like, draw
Master it, yeah.
or
The whole
master
thing.
it, or you draw all the value out of it that you're meant to, and then you will move on to something else that you're looking to learn.
Mm.
Because
No, but from
again, and
I just want to just stop you here just to kind of answer
mm,
that question.
mm,
Did you, when you came for the first time, you got results? Okay, there's
mm-hmm,
money, there's
mm-hmm,
clients, there's whatever that came.
mm-hmm,
Second
mm-hmm,
time you came to get the next 20% that you can soak in from the program.
mm,
Third time
mm,
you came for the night, but every time there were results. There, it was not like
mm.
it took you four tries of the program in order to get you results.
No.
There were still results that came through every program.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just that it deepened and deepened and deepened
Correct.
in your understanding and mastery of it with
Yeah.
every program.
Mm,
That is the point. So ultimately, and a huge thing about community here is, see, there is, and this is something I talk about in fire method also. A lot of us are encouraged to learn through our mistakes. But
mm,
which book, mistakes is what you should not do, okay? Which book
mm,
would you like to have? A book full of your mistakes or a book full of things that actually work? Which book do you
mm,
want? Now, if
mm,
you want the other book, one huge role that a community plays is it shows you
mm,
what works. Because they're not going and telling you this is a mistake I made. They're telling you this is what I did. When my dad had
mm.
this fight, this is what I did that changed this, and this is the result I got. So the community is a book full of things that work. So you can model that, and
Yeah.
community has the coach and the, like, if the path to success is mind, the coach
Mm,
is the one who's been through that mine 1,000 times, day in and day out, so he knows where the mines are. So it tells the student where not to step. So step
mm.
on the other side, and then watch me, follow me, and you'll get through the mine. That is the role, not just of coaching, but it's also the role of community, because it shows you where
Mm,
to step. The book full of what actually works instead of book full of
yeah.
trial and error mistakes. So
Mm,
that's the power of community and courses, like especially live programs. Yeah.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah. So, like I said, this is something that is especially for people out there who are considering becoming coaches, or, wanting to turn their, it's like they say, what is it? You turn your mess into your
Success.
message, right? Your
Yeah, or
success, mess into
success.
message, or basically like you turn something that
Yeah.
you are dealing with into an opportunity, whether it is something that you want to do on the weekend, whether it's something that you want to do on a, like a part-time or a full-time basis. But through all of that, the importance of having community is something that is really, really important. And, I myself, through my journey, I have discovered that. And so the intention is that over a period of time, like, you literally build that, like a thriving community where, as you said, you have a book of successes where everybody is more or less learning the same principles or the same tools, but it's the application, or through their application, maybe they interpreted it a certain way. And we always have that, right? We teach in a certain way, and they will learn in a certain way, but it's that application of what they're learning is what is giving them results, right? And as you said, it's like when people are able to see multiple results, like you're talking about MMMC, where there are like constant results coming in. It is a way for people to realize that, oh yeah,
This
I
world
also,
works. It works.
that
Yeah.
this world works,
Yeah.
this works, what I'm learning works. And therefore, if it's not working for me right now, it's just about, you know taking a breath or
Tuning.
zooming out, and, retuning or fine tuning, however it be, right? So as I was saying before, two things before we slowly start to wrap. One is, um, like I said, I will be sharing the link to your program, and maybe in parting, if you'd love to share a little bit more, like, what is it that people can look forward to, or if there's
Mhm.
something that you've not yet covered, in this
Okay.
pod, definitely do
Okay.
share this so it'll help people.
So essentially, there are three main teachings in the Fire Method Masterclass. One is it's going to teach you what exactly, how to break that loop that a lot of people are
Mm,
in. So you're talking
mm,
about that loop. How do you get out of that? So if there's one area of your life that's just not working, you'll be able to recognize what are the issues or the concepts that are blocking that,
mm,
keeping it in loop. The second thing is you're learning the whole fire method step by step by step. I told you, if the path to success is mind, the coach is the one who's walked that path 1,000 times,
mm,
knows where the minds are. So I'll teach you where not to step. Okay, don't step where the minds are. And so that step by step is guided. Everything, no stone unturned. The whole fire method is given. And then there is an exercise. Actually, there's a quiz first and then an exercise that follows on how to bridge the gap between who you are right now, where you are right now in your life, versus the life that you would like to live. See, there's
mm,
one, I begin the whole method class by talking about how many of us have this belief that there is just, and I had this belief that there's just this universal law that you'll have some good things in life, but some other areas of your life will have to have some struggle. We see it everywhere,
mm,
right? People who have
mm,
money don't have health. People who have
mm,
great relationships, but then don't have money. You don't see a reality where people are balanced in areas, but then also your soul can't accept that deal that, no, just accept it the way that it is given. Maybe there's
mm,
another reality out there where all areas can be balanced in peace. That is what you're going to learn the fire method how to do,
mm,
and so that you don't go back. So these are the
mm,
three major things that you're going to learn in this program. And if you're worried that, oh, the whole time I'm just going to be pitching you to buy a product, so will you have anything to take home? Will there, because you're going to spend 2.5 hours on a Sunday. You could be with your
mm,
friends, your family, but you're choosing to be with us. I don't know if Rahul, if you've come for any of our master classes, webinars, but there's always take home. I don't want the whole
mm,
world to come and join my program. I want the world to have the stuff that they can practice on their own. If they need me to guide them through that over the next 4.5 months, I am there for that. For those who need me, for those who don't need
mm,
me, the whole fire method is there. Go, take it, study it, free, absolutely.
mm,
So don't worry about getting pitched the whole time that the only way is that you have to join my program. No, I'm giving you the step by step. Study,
mm,
practice, always. I have a lot of emails that
mm,
people have sent me saying, oh, it was that class, that free class you did that day that changed my life. It was this free class.
mm,
So don't worry, you're not going to get overly pitched to the point where it's like, oh yeah, now come and study my program. You have things to
mm.
take home, a lot of things to take home. And the stories,
Nice,
there's so
nice.
many personal stories
Mm,
that's going to click for you when you relate it to your own life.
awesome. So I can definitely say that may the right people find you, whether it is, of course, for the masterclass or what would come after that. Because I mean, as someone who's been studying personal development now for now well over 2 decades, I know that this is an ongoing thing. It's not. It's never over. There's always more to uncover, more to discover, more to let go of. So, firstly, thank you for being a guest on this pod, the eye hypnosis coaching journeys, because I really believe that your story in some form can inspire others. And so, when you said yes, I said excellent. It's like perfect timing that your story gets to reach out to people, not
Just
just
to
now,
kind of,
but even
sorry, cut you off,
go ahead.
apologize. I haven't
Hmm.
shared my stories. I haven't told you any of the struggles or any of that, but it's all in the class. So for those who are like, what stories?
Mm.
It's all in the class. Please come for the class. I teach, I think four major stories from my life are in that class.
Mm. Yeah. So there's more to come. And, to add here one more thing, you talked about stories. I think it's also the presence that you bring. This is my intention is to, for people to be inspired by this and to say that, okay, even if I've been on a certain journey, things can always change literally in an instant. So, looking forward to many more conversations, of course, and may this truly go out and make a difference. This
Well,
message,
thank
your
you,
message, may it
Rahul,
go out.
really, genuinely, for I appreciate you for coming and holding space for me to share about my stuff and my programs. I really appreciate that. And this is your podcast. And I was really, when you called me, my whole intention was I didn't know that I'm supposed to be talking about me or my programs. My intention was to be able to talk about you and your work and what you do to your students.
Mm,
So I did not know when you called me, and only now, when before we started recording, you told me that, oh, this is
mm,
a podcast and we're going to talk about me. And I said, well, thank you so much for helping me, and of course my programs and all the things that we do. And this, I hope, for those who are watching, that I was able to share something, maybe a word or two or a sentence or two,
mm,
that made a difference and was worth your time listening over the last 1 hour or so, 1.5 hours or so.
mm,
So
mm.
I hope it was a value. So let us know if anything made
Yeah,
like, aha,
yeah,
okay, and any sense for you.
correct.
Yeah.
And in parting, of course, if there is anything more that you want to hear from us, one is, of course, you will find our details, so you can follow us, you can ask questions there. And there are you will find Kartika's, the link to Kartika's program. There is a link to my to my channel, to my site. There are programs that keep happening from time to time. We will, of course, be now officially starting the IHNLP practitioner program this weekend at the time of the recording. So if you happen to have missed it, just reach out. There are more programs coming in the future. So look forward to seeing you in one of them. And we do lives, live. I do a live session on Mondays and Fridays. So that's one way also for you to come in and start this journey. Because I think, if I was to zoom out for a second, and what connects the two of us as well in the work that we do is, it doesn't matter where you have been. It's more important where you are right now, and that decision that you're taking to to make a change. I think that is really what, and like what Kartika said, it's like your transformation can happen in an instant, or that instant can be over a period of time. It's not so much about trying to validate which one is more important or better. It's
Better.
just that you start, and whatever you're meant to be, whether you believe in karma, whether you believe in timing, whatever it is that is your belief system, you
And
will
also,
definitely
just kind
receive
of
in
want to
spades.
add one thing. I'm so sorry,
Hmm.
keep cutting you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think there's like also a delay, so you hear me much after I cut you off. So you keep talking, and then it's like, crap, I'm really cutting him off. No, what I wanted to say is that one of the big identity shifting things is to not confuse where you are for who you are,
Mm,
because there are challenges that we all go through that are sometimes, it takes a little bit more time to crack out of it. But if we
mm,
confuse that for who we are, we will feel terrible about ourselves and we will end up staying stuck there. So
that's
it's
right.
especially in any area where you are feeling shame about yourself, it is important
Mm,
to remember that that experience is just the coordinates, the location,
mm,
longitude line, the location of where you are and not who you are, and that can change.
correct.
Where you are can
Mm,
always change. So this
yeah,
is just in case that anyone needed that little piece. I needed that piece when I
absolutely.
was going through this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, having said all of that, of course, looking forward to seeing all of you on another pod, and it's my intention to keep looking out for, and the interesting thing is that people show up in my life who are meant to be here on the pod. So, looking forward to more, and wishing you, of course, the very best. And having said all of that, remember to live with purpose. Look forward to seeing you in the next pod. God bless and take care.